From clarkwords.com, this is horribly off topic. Esapode. Esapode.
Do you want to start over?
Nope. Whatever's in the show is in the show. Esapode.
Except for the times where we've done something that has been really bad, and then we
used to make a habit of fucking up the intro.
And we used to make a habit of beeping people's names. Now we give their addresses live on the air. We dox them on the air.
We give no shits anymore. Yeah. We keep our shits to ourselves. This is Esapode 186, by the way.
Of Horribly Off Topic.
Yes.
And who are you?
I'm Chris.
And I'm Steve. And I just would like to say we've never actually doxed anyone.
No.
On the air or otherwise.
Yeah. No. That's what
I'm just trying to get that out of the way before someone digs into this episode and they're like, "Hey, that guy said that he did a thing and maybe he did that thing and maybe fucking Gamergate hashtag."
Well,
it's about ethics and gaming journalism.
Fuck those guys. Actually, my brother-in-law is one of those guys.
What?
He's a very nice person. I can't figure out, but he every time that has ever come up, he tries to explain how, and I can't figure it out.
I think we talked about it on the show at the time, but Ken White's actually his new podcast is pretty great. I'm giving him a free plug.
What's it called?
It's called Make No Law. It's a First Amendment podcast, and it's pretty good.
I thought you were about to say it's a first-person shooter podcast.
Yeah, it's a first-person shooter podcast. Well, actually, I think his website started as a fucking gaming website. I don't know. I had to say fucking in there. It started as a gaming website.
That's a particular type of game. A fucking game. But I wish there were more of those. I'd own a console if there were more fucking games.
No, I don't think you would.
I think I would. Well, no, I guess a console is the wrong place for a fucking game. I think a fucking game should be on a laptop, a computer where you can hide it away behind a password and nobody can see what you're doing with your fucking game.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
So, what was I saying? Oh yeah, but we talked about his article, and I think he made a lot of very good points in it, and when there's. He talked about it early on in gaming journalism back in the 80s when he was reading Computer Magazine Weekly.
Right.
And he was seeing ads for the same games that were getting reviewed in the magazine. And, there was a problem back then.
Right.
And if all of a sudden, when a bunch of feminists are getting mad about it,
right,
now is the time where you find it's fucking important 30 years later to talk about ethics in gaming journalism.
Right.
And I think his exact quote was, "Aren't you a useful idiot?"
Yeah. So we're not doxing anybody. We're not gating any games. We're not dating any games.
I just downloaded a game.
You did. I saw that. But it's a game that you already own?
Now, I don't know if this is going to cause judgment from people.
No, not from me.
Just in general. But I have over the years bought games more than once.
This is the entire operating concept of the Walt Disney Corporation. Things in terms of movies, they go into the vault, they come out of the vault, you buy them multiple times.
So yeah, but the thing is with that, it's different. Well, and the same with games, it's different
media,
consoles, different. It's because when The Little Mermaid came out when we were little kids, that was on VHS,
right.
And
it was DVD, and then it was Blu-ray. Now the thing is I'm wondering how they're going to do this. I don't want to get horribly off topic, but they now have a thing called Movies Anywhere. It was Disney Movies Anywhere. Now it's Movies Anywhere. And when you buy a Disney movie these days, that includes Star Wars, that includes Marvel, includes all of those things.
Wow.
You can watch it.
Can you watch the original Star Wars movies without the fucking edits that George Lucas did to them? Did Disney buy the rights to those?
You're getting horribly off topic. My horribly off topic.
Yeah, yeah, baby.
You can't do that yet. But if Disney succeeds in buying Fox, maybe because maybe they'll own all the masters and they'll be able to go, all right, here you go.
But George allegedly destroyed all the masters because he doesn't want anybody to see the Star Wars that they really want to see.
Right.
So he wants everybody to see a fucking CG fucking Jabba the Hutt rehashing the scene that just happened with Greedo and having Han step on him and as he's walking around him.
Yeah.
And
it's important.
like a very
it's character building.
A very like high level mobster would tolerate not only not being paid for the goods that that Han lost or whatever,
but somebody stepping
but
on his
also
dick.
stepping on him as a person.
Yeah, well,
He should have been killed right there. The fucking series should have been over at that scene, which is why it's a fucking dumb scene.
So all I'm saying is that when you buy a Disney movie now, you can watch it anywhere, right? And it's a digital copy, and as long as they keep this service around, then you can go over and you can start watching it on YouTube, or you can go over
in my shed,
in your shed. You can go over and you can watch it on your Amazon dingus, or your Apple dingus, or your Google dingus,
or your PlayStation dingus.
Your PlayStation dingus. You can probably sign in with your Movies Anywhere account and watch the movies. So they've gotten to the point where they realize you
can't on your Nintendo Switch dingus though.
Yeah, no, your Nintendo Switch dingus is a family friendly dingus, and they don't want you to
watch Disney.
I don't know, but anyway, so
a lot of very harsh content there.
So they're not gonna make you. Well, they'll find some way at some point in the future, but right now they're not making you rebuy things anymore. If you buy the HD copy of something these days, it seems like you're gonna be able to just keep that HD copy for the foreseeable future until the world collapses and there's no internet, and then you'll have to buy it on like a vinyl disc again or something like that.
Yeah, it would be cool for watching things on audio records.
Yeah, So you've owned games before.
Okay, so right before the show, I was explaining this because I actually had the games in question like sitting right next to me. So right there, I have the NES cartridge of Final Fantasy.
Yes, I see it. Have you ever blown it? I mean, blown into it.
Yes.
Okay.
And right underneath there's a stack of PlayStation games. Mm-hmm. I couldn't fit them onto the side over there where I had a bunch of the other PlayStation games. Mm-hmm. But it's basically all the Final Fantasy PlayStation games.
Okay.
And on the top is Final Fantasy Origins, which is Final Fantasy 1 and Final Fantasy 2.
So that brings up you have two copies of Final Fantasy 1, at least Final Fantasy 1, sitting right there in front of us.
Right.
Okay.
And I also bought a copy of Final Fantasy. I think it might have been called Final Fantasy Origins again.
Yeah.
For the Nintendo Game Boy Advance.
Okay. That one's not in front of us.
In front of us. That's in the other room in a small bag next to my DS cards.
Got it.
And my 3DS cards.
Got it. Do you have it? So that's what, three?
That is 3 copies.
3 copies.
Well, the thing about when the PlayStation 1 came out, the Final Fantasy 2 was not a game I currently owned.
Right.
So buying that game got me a second copy of Final Fantasy 2 or Final Fantasy 1, but I was only really buying it for Final Fantasy 2. But
so they call it a bundle.
The ports for all the Final Fantasy reissues, Final Fantasy 1 and 2, and then they did Final Fantasy anthologies and chronologies, I think.
Okay.
Which had Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasy 4, and then anthologies was 5 and 6.
Okay.
Which is, and all of them played really slowly, which you'd think.
That seems strange when you're playing it on a
You would
PlayStation.
These are games that that came out for its predecessor, the Super Nintendo, or a predecessor, the Super Nintendo, which and they played better on the Super Nintendo. It's because the loading times for a disc. The reason why I bought all those games again.
Yep.
For the Advance was because the PlayStation versions of them weren't that great.
I see, said the blind man. That's unfortunate. That seems like they're fleecing you. The Square Enix company.
Yeah, you'd think. Well, luckily, I don't think I've paid for a game from them in a very long time.
Oh, okay.
And I think we both know the reason. And it's not
and
like
it's something we're going to say on the show.
It's not like it's not like I've ripped them off or anything.
No,
like that. It's
you've
just that
gotten
I have
complimentary copies.
I've gotten a copy that maybe someone that works there gets a free copy because he or she has worked on a game and never wants to play that fucking game ever again in his or her life.
Right.
And so, therefore, I've inherited a brand new copy of a game
Yeah.
that I have yet to play in most circumstances.
I don't think I ever played any of those games. I think we've talked about this before. The only Final Fantasy game I've ever played was on iOS, and it was the one where you recorded a sound into it, and that generated your character. And then so when your character would go into a battle, and they'd swing their sword or fire their bow and arrow or whatever, your sound, whatever sound you make, would be their battle cry, and it would issue forth from their mouth as they attacked. And whatever sound you made was what determined what kind of character you got. It was silly, but fun, because you could make like really wild noises and end up with a half elf, half orc, druid mage. I just made that shit up.
So, I mean, and this is just a recommendation, if you're ever thinking about playing a Final Fantasy game,
that would involve me having fun, so I don't ever think about that.
All right, well, there are 15 of them, and out of the 15, and people, listeners out there, you can correct me if you think I'm wrong.
This is like a Star Trek situation?
I think I'm very much right. The two games that I would suggest playing are both on the Super Nintendo. Okay. So Final Fantasy 2/4. Okay. Or in Final Fantasy 3/6.
Got it. Okay.
Like those are the same games. Right. But I would play the Super Nintendo versions of them. But the thing is, it may be a time and a place thing for me, because like that's when I was in my most formative years, and that was when I was really enjoying playing those types of games. Right. Whereas now, like I think that Clueless Gamer with Conan O'Brien for Final Fantasy 15, he is so fucking upset at everything in that fucking game, and which is why I haven't fucking touched it yet.
Yeah, those are funny to watch. I'm not like the biggest Conan fan ever, but I love watching him in that series, because I mean, he's a little bit older than
You're not Team Coco? Hashtag Team Coco?
No. But he's a little bit older than we are, but he's close enough that like I start to feel I can feel the frustrations. Like I understand where he's coming from.
Yeah, I think he's like probably in his early 50s at this point.
Yeah, I would.
I think him and Bill Burr are around the same age, and I think Bill is turning 50 this year.
Yeah. So I enjoy watching him get frustrated. It's fun to watch. Well, it's fun to watch any man with that much red hair. He's got so much hair, and he's got so much forehead, and he's got so much. He just seems like, I don't know. When he gets angry, it's fun to watch.
Totally. Like I'm just looking back, and he totally got hosed.
He did
by NBC.
He did. Yeah. I mean that's why I think it's kind of like him.
I think it's partly NBC's fault and partly Jay Leno's fault. What Jay Leno should have done and should have said was, I don't want to retire in X amount of years, right? And they should have like gone back to the drawing board, for negotiations to figure out when he actually did want to retire, so Conan could take over for him. Yeah, but like it's really hard to get ratings for the Tonight Show when there's a watered down version of the Tonight Show happening right before your fucking show.
Yeah, it's. They did fuck him over, and then of course what they ended up with is fucking Jimmy Fallon. Like,
I mean, I have nothing against the guy.
Nothing against Jimmy Fallon. You have nothing against Jimmy Fallon when he decided he was going to run his fingers through Donald Trump's hair and make the guy more human and help the Russians win the fucking Sorry, I'm gonna stop now. Jimmy Fallon's a fucking asshole, and I will never watch his. I will never watch his show again.
He has said since that happened that he regrets doing it.
Well, good.
So,
for him.
But the thing is, that's not going to like if you were a fucking like that guy what the fuck was that guy's name?
Bernie Sanders.
No, that guy, the red shirt guy that was
Hillary Clinton.
That undecided fucking voter that was watching the fucking debate.
Big Al. No, I don't remember his name. I know who you're talking about, but I don't. remember
that guy. Like if you're an undecided voter and a tussle of someone's hair is going to fucking sway you one way or another, then you're a fucking moron, and it doesn't matter, Chris. Like a fucking slight breeze could have changed that fucking person's opinion.
A slight breeze might have changed the opinion.
Well, maybe if it was more windy that day, we would have been talking about President Clinton too. Yeah. But we're not there, and we're in the shit heap, and we just need to get out of the shit heap.
Yes.
Instead of going deeper into a pile of shit.
Well, I mean, I don't know if we have any choice about going deeper into the pile of shit. It seems like
Well, you know that sometime in November this year we could like get a pickaxe and climb out a teeny bit.
A little bit.
2 years out, and then maybe fucking affect some actual change.
Speaking of shit, my wife watched a documentary recently. She watches a lot of documentaries on... Ultimately, this is all my fault, all right? And here's how it's all my fault.
It's not your fault.
Okay, but here's how it is my fault.
It's not your fault.
When we sit down to watch TV shows, right? I'll pick out a good TV show. For instance, we started watching Mrs. Maisel the other night, the Amazon show, which I think is pretty good. Yeah. But I don't want her to watch it without me. She doesn't want to watch it without me. So then every time we pick out a good show, it is like a show we never get to watch together because we're never together. And so she watches dumb sitcoms and maybe not so well thought out documentaries. I don't know. I don't want to say anything, but like Netflix has a lot of documentaries and they all seem like horseshit to me. But this is about horseshit. This is about cow shit. So Stephanie watches a documentary about global warming and whatever, and she realizes that that our beef industry contributes to global warming because this is the conclusion that she came to. Because we raise so many cows and the cows shit so much, and the shit helps contribute to
methane. Cows fart a lot, and they have 6 or 4 stomachs or something like that. And
she decided she's not going to eat any beef anymore.
Well, it's probably good for her health.
Yeah. But I like beef, and I so it became one of these things. I'm like, are you going to tell me not to eat beef? And she's like, no, I'm not going to tell you, not going to tell the kids. I'm like, but isn't that running counter to what you're talking about? Like you one person stopping eating beef is not going to impact anything.
What are you talking about, Chris? One person making a decision to
one person making a decision to ruffle Donald Trump's hair isn't going to change anything. You just told me that.
Right.
So one person deciding not to eat meat is also not going to change anything.
No, one person not eating meat is eating less meat. Mm-hmm. And if she's like over her lifetimes eating less cows,
right,
then that is making a change.
So one person ruffling less of Donald Trump's hair.
Chris, you're talking apples and oranges here. These are like what anything can affect someone's behavior. Like, so knowing that your wife is not eating meat might affect your behavior to do the same.
No,
but it might cause you to double down and vote for a fucking orange asshole.
This was all my way of sneakily transitioning into a news article I wanted to read to you, because there's one cow out there in the world, Steve, that has decided it is not going to be eaten. And I need to read this article to you. The headline of the article, this is from the Independent, the UK newspaper, The Independent. Cow escapes on way to slaughterhouse, smashes through metal fence, breaks arm of man trying to catch her, then swims to safety on island in lake.
Nice.
Local politician reportedly agrees to let the animal live after its ordeal captures public attention. So let's give you, a cow has been living on an island, attacking anyone who comes near after staging a miraculous escape on its way to a slaughterhouse. The animal made its bid for safety last month after it refused to get into a lorry taking it to be killed for meat. Instead, it rammed a metal fence before making a dash for the nearby Lake Nisa, South Poland. After the cow's owner, known as Mr. Lukas, attempted to get it back to the farm, the cow broke one of his workers' arms, according to the Polish news show Wiadomości.
I love that show.
It then entered the water and swam to one of the islands in the middle of the lake. Mr. Lukas said he even saw it dive underwater on its way. After a week of trying and failing to get the cow back, Mr. Lukas gave up and began making sure it was fed enough food to stay alive. When firefighters used a boat to get to the island, the cow swam about 50 meters to a neighboring peninsula. Paweł Gotowski, deputy commander of the fire brigade in Nisa, said the animal was frightened but healthy. A vet called in to tranquilize the animal told Mr. Lukas he had run out of gas cartridges and that it would take several days to get new ones. Despite the farmer considering having it shot dead, a political leader in the town of Nisa, Cesar Bilebron, has reportedly
I love that guy.
has reportedly said the cow will live out its life in peace. Politician and former singer Powell Kukitz raised the animals plain on Wednesday in a Facebook post in which he offered to pay for the, quote, hero cow, unquote, to be saved from death. She escaped heroically and infiltrated the island in the middle of the lake where it remains today, Mr. Kukiz said, according to the Polish news magazine Wprost. She did not succumb to firefighters who wanted to transport her by boat, and she was still on the battlefield. The cow is still... I'm not a vegetarian, he said, but fortitude and the will to fight for this cow's life is invaluable. Therefore, I decided to do everything to cause the cow to be delivered to a safe place, and in the second stage, as a reward for her attitude, give her a guarantee of a long-term retirement and natural death.
Well, you do realize because this cow is alive, she's contributing to more global warming.
So what if we just killed all the cows, had a lot of hamburgers and steak, had a big fucking cookout,
and then a lot of people would die from heart disease because of all the fucking red meat they're eating. All the fucking
cows would be gone. All the fucking assholes who eat red meat would be gone, and we'd solve a problem.
Right.
So what's what we need to do? Big fucking barbecue.
We need just murder all the cows.
Murder all the cows all at once, and then no more cows, or at least we take, I don't know, wait. Maybe we do a poll. We start with a poll. We poll how many people in the world eat red meat. We get an idea of how much red meat it would take to kill all those people. We kill that many cows.
It would be fun to would you like to participate in a poll that could possibly end your life?
We put the rest of the cows out on like some the Isle of Man or some Polynesian islands where nobody's gonna get them. And then we feed all the cows we need to the red meat eaters. They all die, including me, because I like my red meat.
I do too, but I don't think I will eat it so much that I will kill myself.
Well, I'm just like
everything in moderation.
We're if we're not part of the solution, we're part of the problem. Steve.
I certainly love booze, and I love like the euphoria of drinking alcohol. Mm-hmm. But I understand that drinking it in mass quantities constantly is detrimental to my health and my career and my life. So, as with red meat, consuming that degree, like the same amount that would ruin my life with alcohol.
Yeah.
I think I don't think I could possibly eat that much fucking red meat.
Okay. I'm just saying, like, if we want to stop overpopulation and global warming and all of this, somebody on this podcast needs to take the bullet, and I will take the bullet for the team. I will die eating a triple cheeseburger, and you can continue to do the show with an AI that will be assembled out of mine.
Will occasionally have a really long conversation about a dirty sex toilet.
That's all. Yes.
I'm never letting you live that down.
So anyway, there's a cow that escaped in Poland.
I could just have auditions or something, so we get a real person.
Get a real person.
You'll have to before you have that lethal sandwich or lethal burger. You're gonna have to show me what I need to do to get the podcast out there.
You just gotta hire somebody who knows GarageBand, and then you can continue.
It's on your website.
I'll pay for like I don't know how much longer you think you're gonna live.
I don't know. I'm going to be 40 in a couple of years, so let's
say
35 years.
Let's see. All right, so I'll pay for 35 more years of the website.
Okay.
So you can just keep doing it.
What you could do is you could the website's partially you're going to be your wife's when and if you pass on.
Yes.
I'm just saying just in case you're immortal.
Yeah. Hey, there can be only one.
Yeah. And so you could just leave part of the website to me. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I could have some
in perpetuity.
And then if you have life insurance, leave me enough money in that policy to keep the website going.
Oh, okay. All right. Because I don't know if my website providers would let me pay for 35 years in advance.
Yeah. Leave me some money in case you have a heart attack.
I think this is a good plan. I gotta talk to the not the Better Business Bureau, the Farmers Association. I don't know, who do you talk to about killing a bunch of cows?
Farmers, I guess. People that have cows.
Don't
Don't have a cow, man.
Nah, don't have a tea party, man.
Bart Simpson, man. He was well ahead of his time for climate change.
Don't have a cow, man.
Yeah, don't have them.
You think he's well? So let me ask you this, Steve. Let me ask you this.
Okay, I'll listen to your question and perhaps answer it.
Do chicken droppings cause methane?
I don't think so.
Okay, so it's just the cows.
Well, I think it's because of the amount of the severe amount of their stomachs that they have, and so like they eat like grass or hay or corn or whatever.
Yeah,
and then it goes in their stomach, and then they shit it out, and then and they eat. It goes into one of their stomachs, and then they shit it out, and they eat it again. And it goes into another one. Like, Leo, fucking help me out here.
Okay.
And then like, because it's like eating so many things, or eating and then shitting and eating and shitting, it's always eating and shitting.
Right.
So like, I think that's why cows are the ones that are
cows are the problem.
Yeah, are the most out of all living creatures, are the biggest problem as far as like global warming.
So should we even keep the cows?
I mean, I fart a shit ton, but not as much as cows.
So I mean, like, so the cows that I was saying we should keep over on the Isle of Man or wherever, like. Those cows, should we kill them too? I mean, should just be a fucking cow genocide? Just get rid of them all? I mean, if even a small number of cows are just going to eat and shit all day, they're not just eating shit, then, maybe we need to not have any cows at all.
You know what? We should use cows as an alternative fuel source.
I like where you're going. So we just have the cows fart into our gas tanks.
No, we use we kill the cows and then we use them as energy.
Okay.
So we're getting rid of cow energy, like, or the cow farts that are creating the global warming, and then we're using cows as energy for our vehicles instead of oil, which is contributing to global warming.
So you have like a hamburger gas tank, like you just
Oh my God, would that smell good?
Oh, people running after you.
Oh, it's the burger car.
It's the burger car.
Holy shit, get the fuck out!
But so then would we just have to grow giant chickens in order to, like, because everyone's still going to eat chicken? Or would we eventually find a way to just...
I mean, there are plenty of people in the world that are vegetarian, vegan, and they have found a way to get the necessary nutrients in their body without eating meat.
I'm saying, like... Do we have to kill all the animals to make ourselves stop eating animals?
We can walk with the animals, talk with the animals.
I mean, because eventually all of those meat eaters would have no cows left to eat, so they'd start eating more chicken, right? Maybe some more pork or whatever. And so then I think eventually we'd just be eating a lot more chickens, and then I guess chickens also eating shit.
Yeah, but I don't think they eat and shit as much.
Okay.
I mean, like...
So maybe we get another few millennia out of just eating chickens.
If we can make genetically engineer, like, chicken tits, which is the part of the chicken that most people eat. Like, we have some chicken breast in the fridge.
Genetically chicken. Okay. It's like, that would be a good title, but it's got the word tits in it.
It does have the word tits in it.
It does have the word tits in it.
Hashtag Nami's boobs.
We haven't even gotten there yet.
I know!
All right, so genetically engineered chicken tits, then what?
And then we don't have to even, like, I mean, we could just have chickens exist for, like, egg purposes.
Right.
But they could just tool around and lay eggs or whatever, instead of, like, us having a bunch of meat chickens hanging around.
Right.
So farmers can just focus on eggs. But I don't know.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
But then again, when a chicken's, like, close to death, would they still eat it?
I don't know. No, I mean, you just let it live out its life, right?
But it
in a chicken retirement home,
just a little chicken cane.
Yeah, maybe a little, maybe a walker, Oh, I guess chicken probably, Well, no, yeah, probably a walker. You could stick the walker underneath the wings. Yeah. I mean, chicken retirement. That's a thing we haven't considered, but like cow retirement. We haven't considered that, but we are to get rid of all the cows. I mean, do we get rid of the chickens first after the cows, or do we get rid of the pigs first after the?
I'm just overwhelmed.
Let's talk about something different then, Steve. I don't want to overwhelm you.
I'm overwhelmed by this.
You're overwhelmed by this idea of getting rid of all of the livestock.
It seems like something that might cause problems in the long run.
What if we just get rid of all of us?
All humans?
All humans. Just get rid of all humans.
I think we're doing a decent job of it nowadays, anyways.
But at
least at schools. But
yeah, there's a lot of that happening.
So I just wanted to say my normal piece when this happens. Folks out there, if you don't like seeing a school shooting every other week, you need to follow where the NRA is spending its money.
Right.
If they are spending money on a certain candidate, it would probably behoove you to vote for the other person.
Yes.
So NRA, if they're spending money on a person, and look into this, because if this is something that matters to you, if this is important to you, that you want your loved ones to continue to be alive,
right?
Yeah, just look into it and vote for the other guy.
Yeah, I think that's a.
I think that's the best way we can do it right now, because the people we have in there aren't going to make any change.
Nope. They're going to send their thoughts and prayers.
Yeah, which are awesome, and it's really nice of them to do that.
Yeah.
But
Steve, we don't want to politicize the issue. We should let the families grieve.
I think anybody that's listening to this fucking show, I'm like, let's stick with the Constitution. Yeah, you do have the right, but also we don't let convicted felons get a gun.
I think honestly we need to go back and look at this. And so the Second Amendment is about the right to bear arms, right? It's the right to bear arms. So go out into the forest.
Are you going to be literal here?
Yeah, well that literal interpretation of the Constitution, that's what these motherfuckers want. So I want
But it doesn't just say that, Chris. If you read the Second Amendment.
You have the right to bear arms for a well-organized militia. So what I want you to do is I want you to go out into the forest. Don't go to Clark's trained bears. Those bears are nice. Leave them alone. Go out into the forest, shoot a bear.
Why do you want to murder so many animals?
Shoot a bear.
Well, you need a gun to shoot a bear.
Okay, well, but you don't need an AR-15 to shoot a bear. No. Take your.
You don't come here to hunt, do you?
Yeah, take your fucking handgun or your shotgun.
You never heard that joke, did you?
No.
I'm going to tell the joke. Okay, so guy goes.
But I'm not done telling my joke.
I don't. It's not a joke. What you're saying. Guy goes out in the woods. And he's got a shotgun. And he sees his bear and he shoots the bear. Mm-hmm. And the bear fucking turns around and is rawr.
Yeah.
And he points at a log and he goes like, bend over that. And then the guy bends over the log and the bear fucks him in the ass.
Okay. That's the joke.
So he runs back to the gun store. Okay. He gets a bigger gun. Mm-hmm. Runs back out to the woods and he sees the bear again. He shoots the bear. The bear's like, rah! Points at the log again, and the same shit happens over again. Uh-huh. He goes back to the gun store. He's like, guy, what do you got? What's the biggest gun you got? The guy's like, I got an elephant gun. He's like, all right, give me the elephant gun. He goes back out and he shoots the bear. The bear's like, rah! You don't come here to hunt, do you?
So what I want you to do is I want you to go out into the woods and I want you to
fucked
shoot
by a bear. and not the large gay man variety, an actual woodland bear.
I want you to go out into the woods. I want you to why don't you go to one of the retired bears? All right, one of the bears. It's towards the end of its life. Maybe it's having a little bit of trouble, and it would be humane to get to help the bear out by killing the bear. All right. Then this is what the founders intended. They want you to go out and they want you to help out that bear that it's at the end of its days. Give it a hand. And then I want you to take its hands. I want you to take its arms, because that's what you have the right to. You have the right to bear arms in a well-regulated militia. So you're going to take the bear's arms. You're going to go out and find some bear arms for your son. It's a new world. Find some bear arms for your daughter. She can be part of the militia too. All of you are going to have some bear arms, and you're going to win the wars for us. That's what we're going to regulate it. Only one pair of bear arms per person. That's how it's going to work. That's what the founders intended.
Sure, Chris.
It's not any more ridiculous than thinking that the founders intended us to have AR-15s.
Well, you're right.
It's a
Like,
mental health problem, Steve. It's a mental health problem. We need to help these people.
well, we also have mental health issues in this country.
And Steve, they were so busy thinking about Russia. If the FBI weren't so busy thinking about Russia, then they would have caught this guy. That's what the president told me this morning.
Well, maybe if you hadn't fucking done shady shit, they wouldn't be thinking about Russia.
No, they gotta
and
stop
a
thinking
tragedy could have been averted. You fuck.
Steve, we need to calm down. We both need to calm down. I feel my what does my watch tell me my heart rate is right now? It's probably not good. But I just said I need to calm down, so I think I'm calming down. I think I said I'm calming down. It was 68 beats a minute 8 minutes ago. What is it now? 60. So I'm calming down.
Oh, that's cool.
That's actually good. I'm proud of myself.
That's 1 per second.
We should talk about something else, and I have the perfect idea, because when I walked into your humble abode, is it humble? It's a humble abode.
I think we are. This is a modest home. I think.
Modest abode.
Yeah, this is not. We're not living in fancy mansion land.
Right. So yeah, it's a humble abode.
Yeah.
You're not living in squalor. You're not living in a mansion. It's an abode, and it's humble.
It fits our needs.
Okay. So I walk into your humble abode, and I see on your kitchen table.
Oh yeah.
One of these pop figures.
Funko Pop.
And I recognize the name. The name on this Funko Fop figure is, I can't speak today, is Nami.
Yes.
Now
the National Association for Mental Illness.
Is there such a thing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, when you're concerned about mental illness problems, instead of fucking cutting funding, maybe donate to an organization like NAMI. But we're talking about a different NAMI.
We're talking about a different NAMI. This NAMI is from the television program in One Piece.
What? You're bringing it up.
I bring it up, so that means
a double drink. I think someone has to drink a whole beer.
Oh, that's so good. All right, so Nami is from the show One Piece.
Right.
Previously on
on One Piece.
Previously on our program, we saw another statue of Nami, not a Funko Pop statue. The statue of Nami that I was familiar with was rather buxom, a buxom lady in a bikini,
yeah.
With boobs bigger than her head.
Yes, but one of the cool things about the Funko Pop figures is they have an enormous head.
Right.
So for her boobs proportionally to be bigger than her head, like it would. I don't think the figure
I don't think
could
it would
exist.
fit in the box.
Yeah, it wouldn't fit in the box. A and B, it wouldn't stand up. It would be way too top heavy.
Yeah. How does the other one you don't own the other one.
No, I think she's sitting down.
Saw it on, okay, she's sitting down. Okay.
But like there's some One Piece figures that are fantastic, and they look like there's a lot of effort put in, and there's one that's like the Frankie post time skip Frankie, and he has like rocket launchers coming out of his fucking shoulder blades, and
this is a normal or a Funko Pop?
No, this is a regular figurine, and it costs like in between $350 and $500.
Wow,
because it's really well done. I think Brian has a really good Caesar clown one, which is pretty fantastic. He's got a couple more on his shelf at his office.
Yeah. Does he have Nami on the shelf?
He does not have one of the giant booby figures.
Yeah, I was going to say.
And I don't think it would be appropriate in an academic environment to have like a giant breasted anime figure.
Yeah. No, that's probably male gaze and all that.
Male gaze?
Male gaze.
Oh, the gaze?
Male gaze or
that
male
word,
gaze.
Like, people do not know why you're laughing. I just said, as far as they're concerned, I just said gaze in a weird way. But I did shoot like beams out of my eyes as if I was referring to the gaze that you would.
Yes, and that's what I was referring to.
Okay.
But
the way I said it sounded like male gaze.
Male gaze?
That's impossible.
That is impossible. There's no such thing. No, there's a lot of them. Some of my favorite people on earth are male gays.
Yeah, I have some friends. That
Some of my favorite people on earth are female gays. I love the gays.
Well, I like the people that I like, regardless of their sexual orientation or
Well,
gender.
I'm not saying that I hate straight people here, although generally I do hate most straight men. But you're the exception. I dig you. I think you're
Really?
right.
You're like, if you walk down the street, you're like, "Hey, how's it going?" And the guy's like, "I like pussy," and you're like, "I hate you."
Generally speaking, yeah. I am not a big fan of
Not that most people would say that to you on first meeting, but
yeah, no. But I'm not a big fan of straight men, and white straight men especially. Ugh. Like it's self-hatred. I think it's part of it. But I also know what horrible shit white straight men are capable of.
Yes,
and
but
so,
everybody is capable of that shit.
The privilege that white straight men have in our society allows them to be much shittier than any other particular subclass of character. I'm just saying, if Final Fantasy, like if it was Final Fantasy 27 and it was really just real life. It was The Sims.
Yeah.
My first choice is never to play a white straight man. It's generally to play.
Well, typically in video games, there is like not especially
not a lot of options. You're going to play a white straight man. That's they're telling you that.
Or well, a lot of times, since there's some of the earlier games, there's not necessarily a lot of romance, and so therefore you're playing a white asexual man.
This is true. Well, until he sees the big busted Medusa that he has to slay, right? Because
and all of a sudden he gets a raging hard on, and then he turns to stone in his pants.
He gets a raging hard on for the boobs, and he has to cut off her head. And there's something, I don't want to get into the deep seated meaning of this, but like, you know.
Well, I think it's more of a class issue, but you know.
I'm just saying I kind of hate straight guys.
I kind of hate rich guys. I think that's my issue.
Yeah, I've never met a rich guy that I liked.
Yeah, I don't like if someone has like a shit ton of money, like I like that's where I I'm sure.
What about a rich lady? What about
yeah, rich people. I tend to like my prejudice is more class oriented, and it's not people that are lower than me.
Yeah,
it's typically people that are on a higher threshold of class, and so that's why I always tend to be a libertarian socialist kind of mindset, is because like I want you to not I don't want the fucking wealthy ruling class to tell me what to do,
right?
And I also want them to fucking share some of their massive wealth.
Fair enough. But a lot of that wealth is concentrated around white straight men. Just gonna say.
They might also be gay, Chris. They might be closeted gays.
They might be.
They might be a lot of different things and not straight.
Okay. I'm just saying. Don't demonize like a group that is by far not necessarily doing as much harm as maybe rich, powerful white men. Okay. Rich, powerful white men, they're the worst.
But just saying that because of your sexual orientation is towards the opposite sex doesn't make you a bad person.
What about,
and being a person that likes someone of the same sex doesn't make you a good person.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not, I don't know what it is about. I have a very hard time.
But there are plenty of like every well, I wouldn't be friends with them otherwise, but every friend of mine that is homosexual is somebody that I really like.
Yeah.
So it's like cool,
right? But
there are plenty out there that I don't like.
Oh, for sure. Because if you were to go deeper into their particular subculture, they could point out all sorts of people that they don't like. Right? I mean, a lot of the people that I am friends with or close with. In some capacity, who are gay, like they definitely have strong opinions about some other gay folks. That
So
whereas
everybody judges is what I'm saying.
Right.
Let's try not to judge so much, and then Even my prejudice towards wealthy folk. Maybe
Right.
there are some wealthy folk that do good work.
Maybe.
So well, let's just not fucking. I mean, let's continue to judge because that's what fucking humans do. But let's try not to be as judgy.
Okay, all right. I think that's fair. I'm just saying I have noticed in my life that I have a harder time forming friendships with straight white men than I do with any other category of person.
Well, I mean, it all depends on where you're going. Like, at our age, it's not something that's easy to do.
Yeah.
In making new friends,
Right.
like one of the ways you can is like by starting a new job and working
Right.
with new people.
Yeah.
But like the places where you would make friends and like have long lasting relationships we're already well past
Right.
that in our life, like high school, college, and then and then jobs or where you would encounter the most people, or unless you do what I do and go out and fucking do pinball league or whatever else.
Yeah.
So you just need to join a league.
A league of extraordinary gentlemen
Yeah, or just chubby guys
playing pinball.
playing. Well, I just generalized there, and I kind of thrust myself on there. But
Yeah, you were projecting a little bit.
The
is that what you're
people
saying.
that play aren't necessarily out of shape.
They're not. Oh, they're not necessarily out of shape.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I think,
And there's an occasional woman sprinkled in to a tournament here or there,
Yeah.
unless it was the women's tournament,
Right.
In which case there was the spouses of all those women just hanging around,
right.
but there was plenty of women there. What happened? Nami's boobs.
Nami's boobs. Nami's boobs are smaller than her head in the Funko Pop figure.
I'm sort of worried. Like I have the Frankie figure, which is him like in an open Hawaiian shirt and a speedo.
Okay.
But I'm not as concerned about that on my desk as I am about like the figure wearing a bikini.
Oh. Yeah. I mean, but that I see where you're coming from. That's an interesting thing. Is we're not as concerned because there isn't as much connotation around sexualizing the male body. I don't know.
Especially a cyborg male body.
Yeah, I mean, but the sexualizing of the female body is such a prevalent thing in our society that you never know how anybody's going to react to it. Whereas the sexualized male body, I think we haven't seen it enough, then we're all okay with it. I don't know how that works because I'm
gonna put her in the back row, I think, and hopefully Chopper's antlers get in the way of her boobs.
Okay. Because that's I looking at it, I think it's a pretty tasteful figure, as opposed to the
one that
one
if I
where-
had it on my desk, I probably would be fired in a second.
the one that we've previously talked about on the show with her very very enormous breasticles,
Magumbos.
Magumbos.
I think that's the best way to describe incredibly large breasts.
Yeah, it's boobs.
Nice segue.
I'm in the middle of rewriting this play that deals with
Boobs?
it deals with breast cancer.
Oh.
And
Way to bum me out, Chris.
no, but it's about the character at the center of it, the woman who has survived cancer and is now having a relapse. She's got a different perspective on things that is frustrating to the rest of the people in the play. And I was just I was just writing a scene this morning before I came over here between these two women, and I asked my wife. I said, am I automatically like not qualified to write the scene because I have a dick? I said penis, but I'm saying dick here because it makes me sound edgier.
Yay, podcast fans! Chris says dick.
But no, it's something I struggle with a lot because the characters I tend to write about are not straight white men, which is what I am, and because they don't interest me.
Radio won't even play my jam.
Well, fucking Jesus! Now that song's in my head, but I don't even know what song. Radio won't even play my jam. Oh, Eminem.
Yeah.
So I'm writing this script and I'm rewriting, and this one I think even more than the novel, which deals with two gay women and their daughter. I'm sitting here going, I don't know, because I don't know. And obviously, before it if it were to be accepted, I'm rewriting it to pitch at the Players Ring tomorrow night, or tonight, as most people hear this.
Or maybe last night.
Or last night.
Or
depending.
6 months ago.
Or 6 months ago. But for me, it's tomorrow night. And so for me, I obviously I'll put it through sensitivity reads and stuff like that. And it's been read by people before. I probably don't have as much to worry about as I'm worrying. But like I don't have boobs. I've never, I have man
moobs.
I have moobs. I have man breasts. But I don't know. I don't know what my point was. Just that I'm sensitive to whether or not I'm doing a good job with writing this shit. And I don't know why it is that this stuff is more interesting to me than writing about the plight of a straight white guy.
Well, it doesn't necessarily have to be plight. I mean, you could write about.
I mean, I have straight white men in my plays, in my books, and whatever, but they're generally not the main character. Because every time I try to write them as the main character, I can't find anything interesting or sympathetic about them.
Well,
I guess that's a failing on my part.
Yeah, maybe next time you challenge yourself, write a white man, like as interesting and endearing person.
That's hard. That's a big challenge because I don't think very many of us are endearing.
Fucking. Hopefully, like somebody out there thinks the two of us are endearing enough to listen to 180 something times.
Yes, and there are people there. In our case, there's a woman in each of our lives who does find us endearing enough to hang out with us most of the time.
Right.
But see, here's the thing.
Here's the thing.
I can understand why the woman in your life finds you endearing. I can't understand why the woman in my life finds me endearing.
Why don't you talk to her?
I do, and she's sick of trying to explain to me why she finds me endearing. She's like, I can't. She doesn't know what to say anymore. For 20 years, it's been 20 years as of last Friday that she and I have been together. And
congratulations.
Thank you. And I think at this point, she has every right to be annoyed that I don't understand yet why she stays with me.
So I think that's just a self-esteem issue for you.
Yeah.
What I've found is that as I've gotten older, and this is bringing back a very crushing Patriots loss from.
God damn it! I don't want to hear about it.
So I
have skipped 3 episodes now of my favorite podcast because he keeps talking about the fucking game.
So what I've found is that as my self-esteem has gotten better, the less I've given a shit about sports.
Okay.
Now, I don't know if there's a direct correlation. This is just something that I noticed, but like
I think you're onto something.
Like as time has gone on, like back in 2003 when the Red Sox lost to the Yankees, and like it was I was crushed.
Me too. The Red Sox then, the Patriots losses when they lost to the Giants those 2 years.
Yeah.
This time,
like last year, I was ready for them to be done, and let's fuck it, let's just go home.
Right.
And so we got home and they won. I'm like, oh, cool, neat.
Yeah.
And so I am more excited about my own stuff, I suppose, whether it be like achievements, which is like last year doing the pinball thing, or us doing the show, like cool like accomplishments of my own that I've gotten a little better sense of self.
Yeah,
that like something that's outside of myself, I'm like it's more on the peripheral.
Right. I'm with you there. This one did not hurt as much as those two. A few years ago when they lost to the Giants, and the second one of those didn't hurt as much as the first one of those, and none of them hurt as much as the time that that they lost to the Colts in the AFC Championship game, and I screamed so loud and so hard that I saw stars.
So loud and so hard.
So hardly off topic.
What?
I don't know.
I think this episode should be called hashtag Nami's boobs.
I like male gaze or male gaze. I think that, given what we've talked about, I think that is more.
No, I think definitely hashtag Nami's boobs. So we show up on on people that like One Piece's radar.
We can do that in the tweet.
Yeah, but
if it's the title,
the title making it a hashtag, like it's instantly a hashtag.
What about male gaze or male gaze parentheses hashtag Nami's boobs?
No. I don't want people to think we're disparaging gays, and by saying that in the title, it makes it seem like we are.
Okay. Hashtag Nami's boobs for real. Mm-hmm. Oh my god. But we didn't even talk about Nami's boobs for that. I mean, I guess Nami's. All right, I'm putting it down.
Hashtag Nami's boobs.
Hashtag Nami's boobs. That makes us seem even more like assholes than we are, doesn't it? Though.
Yeah, but if people listen to it, like they'll be like, cool, or they are those assholes. Like people are gonna judge us, Chris, and hopefully it won't be too harshly.
I don't want them to judge us. I want people to like me.
People aren't necessarily going to like you, but they might find you entertaining.
I want them to like me. I want them to like me.
See, like for the longest time, like we watched a clip of Anthony Cumia's show that he does from his house because like he's just a crazy person that just collects guns and like broadcasts from his house.
Yeah.
He had this fucking like terrible person on. And he had Ron Bennington on, who was like a radio person that I beyond respect.
Yeah.
And Ron was just fucking ready to just knock this other guy out. Oh. And I think he made a jab at Anthony. It's like back when you used to be funny.
Other guy did or Ron did?
No, Ron did.
Okay.
Because Anthony, despite all his fucking right-wing predilections and like terrible opinions and whatnot, he is a really funny guy. And when he would be funny, when he would do his impressions or do whatever,
right,
it was great.
Yeah.
But then when he'd go on fucking epic rants about the Second Amendment or other bullshit, like it wasn't funny.
Right.
And so if he had just stuck to being funny, maybe, Opie and Anthony would still be a thing. And now, but actually he probably loves doing a show and drinking and fucking in his house, in his fucking.
Well, everybody loves drinking and fucking in their house.
Yeah, and whatever.
Or not.
But but like, everybody. I don't necessarily like Anthony, but I think he's very entertaining.
Yeah. Well, I think that's okay. I think in certain fields of entertainment, I think that can happen.
Like shock jockery.
Yeah, and I think in writing, which is my primary field, it's a little bit harder because I think people come for, they might initially pick up your first book or whatever based on the content, but then they stick around for the voice.
Come for the novel, stay for the crab cakes. Yeah, sure.
No, I mean... Come for the novel.
That's really long, though.
Crab cake. I know, but Twitter gives us much more. I don't know. Hashtag Nami's boobs is also funny.
We could put hashtag Nami's boobs in there, and like.
But hashtag Nami's boobs is more in keeping with I mean, we spent all that time talking about male gaze and boobs and stuff like that. I don't know. Come for the novel, stay for the crab cakes is also very funny. But that's what I mean. Like, I worry that people
wary? Are you wary?
I worry.
I'm very wary about worrying.
I am wary about worrying. No, I am worried about worrying. Which one am I?
I don't know.
That people will see titles like Nami's boobs on my podcast.
All right, we'll change it to the crab cakes. That's funnier anyway.
But what I'm saying is this is how the whole conversation started. I, as a writer, don't want people to hate me. I don't want them, because then they might some of the people that I want to read my stuff are possibly going to get turned off by my occasional being.
But if you're so middle of the road that you're trying not to offend anyone,
right,
you're not necessarily attracting anybody to your product. I didn't read the book, so I don't know.
Yeah, people keep telling me that they're reading it and liking it, and that's a thing that's completely. Oh my god! I'm doing a reading at Leslie on Thursday at the Sherrill Library.
Okay,
and
if you are listening to this the day
Yeah.
it comes out,
Right.
you
Then
could possibly
you could
attend.
possibly get there, and I don't know what I'm going to read. I don't know if anybody's going to show up. We scheduled it it's 6:00, and so there's a class that full of a whole bunch of people, including my students, who would go, but they're in class till 6:30.
So just bad scheduling.
It's bad scheduling on
So
my
when
part in the
is
library.
it from like 6 until 6:15?
No, it's
or
probably
can
like
you fucking stall for half an hour for
It's
your
probably
students
like
to be able to
6
get
to 7.
there?
I don't know. I don't know anything about it, and that's the thing is like, I'm trying to
You
finish
could.
this.
I mean, it'd be cool to redo an empty room. Test the acoustics.
I've done it before, or a near empty room. I tried reading on Facebook and Instagram Live the other day, and I fucked it up.
You fucked.
and people, I started reading. Instagram was going fine, but only one person was watching on Instagram. I had my phone doing Instagram, I had my computer doing Facebook, and it turned out that because of the way Facebook made me do it, it wasn't picking up my microphone properly, so nobody could hear me. And then I got home that night and I figured it out, and I plugged in the mic that I use for the podcast, and then it was fine. But there's a mic built into the computer that for whatever reason,
Mike.
So I don't know. I've been having bad luck, and I got shit to do today and tomorrow, and then where the kids have the week off. So
Oh yeah, it's school vacation week. I don't have tomorrow off.
I don't have tomorrow off either.
Bummed out about that.
Yeah.
My next holiday is not till Marathon Monday.
Yeah, see, that's okay, so I wondered if your company did the same thing. My university that I work for always did President's Day, which is tomorrow, but this year they're doing Patriots Day. And I actually think that makes more sense, even though we're on the Cambridge side of the river and not the Boston side of the river. And it's the Boston side of the river that the marathon happens
it's
on.
a clusterfuck getting into the city. I think that's the issue, and I
Yeah.
think that's why I started my job the day after the marathon last year,
Okay.
which sucks because I didn't get paid for the holiday because I didn't start until the day after.
Poor Steve.
Yeah, it's a fucking bummer, man.
Yeah. No, so we're we get same deal that you have with us. We're, instead of getting President's Day off, which we've always gotten off in the past, we get Patriots Day off, which makes more sense.
Cool.
It'd be nice to get them both off.
Yeah. I remember when Lincoln's birthday and Washington's birthday were separate pay holidays.
Oh, you're such an old fuck.
You're older than me.
You can find the show notes for this episode at clarkwoods.com/hot/186. And if you have any comments, some questions, concerns,
You want to tell us about the inner workings of an animal like a cow?
like a cow, then you can send that to hot@clarkwoods.com. If you got something short to say, you can send it on Twitter. I'm at ECC1977.
And I am at Tuesday is loser. That's Tuesday IS loser, all one word.
And if you have not reviewed us in your podcast app of choice, you should do that shit.
Yeah, like if it's Apple Podcasts or Stitcher.
or fucking
else is
Overcast.
there? Overcast.
Any of the ones out there. I mean, iTunes is the one that Apple Podcast is the one that most people use. So even if you don't use that one, go over there and fucking 5-star this shit.
If you have an iTunes account, which I'm assuming a lot of people in the world do, if you've ever had an iPod, just pop onto your computer that you've that's been collecting dust or whatever, and just give us a 5-star rating and say, I listen to Horribly Off Topic, and it's probably one of the better things, and it's made it so I am the happiest person ever. And make sure you're a stuttering mess when you fucking write that.
They appreciate that.
Yeah.